Speaking of speed boosts, they also added a speed boost to the gates on Flashpoint. So when you go out of spawn, you get an immediate speed boost.
Yeah, it's actually not really that strong.
It's pretty decent for what it is, but it's like
well, like when it's at the spawn door, it's like literally at the spawn door. Like if you have an ability to boost yourself forward, you go a little faster, but that's it.
Yeah,
and then like immediately goes away.
It's sort of like as if Lucio did a speed boost, amplified speed boost, and then the moment it expired, there was no more speed boost.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it is.
Take the orbital cannon. Oh.
The fact that they had to give a speed boost to let you move on the map quicker means that the map is poorly designed.
No, it means the game mode is poorly designed. I'm not putting necessarily blame on the map.
Flashpoint is shit.
Because if there's one thing I'll say about Overwatch, the maps, for the most part, there's usually... It's not like the map is bad. I haven't really had that experience in this game. It's usually the game mode itself is bad, not the way the map functions and what you're supposed to do.
Now, the newer game mode, I can't remember what it's called. I don't even know if it's a new game mode or
Clash. It fucking sucks. It's terrible. It's so bad.
It's okay, but yeah,
no, I'm sorry, it's atrocious.
I find it more bearable than Flashpoint.
It makes me yearn for 2CP. Yes.
Yeah.
I would rather it be like a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just make 3CP? Gosh.
Yeah, that's what I want. Like, I want some bring some of them Team Fortress ideas in and just give us a bunch of capture points.
I mean, literally, that's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to do 5CP with Push, with Flashpoint, and with Clash. Those have all been trying to emulate 5CP.
I'm less convinced on Push.
Because you go back and forth. That is...
well, in theory, yes. In practice, not necessarily. Because it can just be a linear you go, that's it. There's no anything else about it.
So can 5CP.
Well, I just don't see it functioning the same way as if you're describing...
Did you ever play TF2?
No. So I may not be the most qualified to hear.
Just trust me on this, that's what they were trying to go for. That is the game experience that they were trying to copy. And none of the attempts have worked. I think that Clash is the closest to what TF2 had, but it is also definitely highlighting... it's highlighting the fundamental differences between the games.
And no, Alan, you can just say that Clash is bad. Like, I promise nobody's gonna come after you.
Clash is bad.
You don't need to be a paid actor by Overwatch. Like, it's okay.
It's not that Clash is bad. It's that Overwatch doesn't work with 5CP. Because the playstyle is much more focused on being fast-paced. And, like... The thing about TF2 is that it was a long, drawn-out battle. And people would come and go, and you would have different people.
Well, then there's a fundamental question here. Because I get the line you're going down. The fundamental question, why are they trying to take slow game modes into a fast-paced game style? That doesn't make sense.
Because everything that they have done has been taken from TF2. This entire game is an attempt to clone TF2.
And Marvel Rivals an attempt to clone this.
Yeah. Like, everything about Overwatch Like, I can tell you something on most characters that is directly taken from something in TF2. Like, even character personality and things.
Mm-hmm. Farah's just a soldier.
No, soldier is soldier.
She's a wannabe soldier. Well, no. Rocket
Right,
jump,
so
everything. Farah is literally modeled after the soldier.
Where's Ramatra's similarity then?
There's not a lot of them that have similarity. It's just some of them do.
No. It's more. I just to just play devil's advocate to Alan's point.
Okay, Ramatra doesn't have very much in common with TF2.
Well, and I will agree that, like, once again, I haven't played the game, but I trust that a lot of inspiration was taken from there. But I think it's a little unfair to say every single thing they're doing is meant to emulate it. I don't
didn't
think that's
mean
the case.
Literally everything. I mean the vast majority.
No, there's inspirations, but it's not like
Thank you very much
it's.
for the follow. Appreciate it.
They took a slow-paced game mode and they said, "Hey, let's make it fast." And then when 2 came out, they shit on it. That's what I think.
I do want to practice the new person a little. So is it okay if we stay in here for a bit?
Yeah, I mean So one thing that I think actually they could possibly do, because the different game modes in TF2 were King of the Hill, 5 CP. I think it was 2 CP. 2 CP had like multiple stages. It was like 2 CP 3 times. But there's that payload, and the one that I don't think Overwatch has ever tried to do.
Capture the flag?
Capture the flag.
No, they've done just a separate capture the flag mode.
They've done,
it's more like
I
an
remember
arcade.
that.
It's an arcade mode. It does exist, but it's not.
Okay, so
that's I don't think ever a game style that's going to be in rotation like that, because it's just based on how the rest of the game plays. I like, yes, they're taking stuff from TF2. I don't think that makes any sense for them to do.
Okay. If I could just if I could just have a moment to
turn back time.
Like,
sorry.
Now, if I can just, like, wrap up what I was saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, basically, the thing with Clash says to me that because of the changes to the game style that they made in Overwatch, they made it so that that game mode just doesn't work. Because
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, 6v6 I don't think would have worked with that mode either.
No, I'm not saying Overwatch 2, I'm saying Overwatch at all. I think that, so TF2 was a server-based, large-scale number of player game that was over a drawn-out period of time. Overwatch is, instead of being server-based, is matchup-based, where you're constantly fighting new people. Whereas in TF2, like, you would have the same people that you would have an extended fight against, or the teams would get shuffled and you would be on the same team as the people you were fighting. And like, it was the same group of people because they all were on the same server, like the same physical server. You were all connected to the same IP address, and that's where the game was located.
But I already know my own IP address. Wait,
Exactly.
sorry, not the point.
But because they changed it to be so many fewer players, and so much faster, the 5CP game mode is just not compatible with that anymore. That's what Clash is showing me, because I loved 5CP in TF2, and Clash is almost a straight up copy of 5CP. It is almost exactly the same, and it does not work.
I don't know if the problem is capture speed or what, the capture speed being as fast as it is, because based on what you're describing, the game mode would do much better if it took longer to capture objectives.
Yeah.
Which actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, that's the thing it needs. That's what would make it feel better, is if it's not one fight for a capture point and then that's it. And then you do that 3 to 5 times, or at most, like, what, 9 times, and that's it.
Yeah.
If it was 2 to 3 fight, if it was, I would say 2 fights per capture point, as to just kind of be a variation of what already exists in this game, it would probably work a lot better. And it would make the games, you wouldn't have 3-minute games. Because there's no other game mode where you can have a 3-minute game. That used to be 2CP, but obviously there's no 2CP now.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably fix it. I take
You're listening,
back what
Overwatch
I said.
devs?
It could work, it just doesn't right now.
I mean, it was just the way you described it made that click, I guess. If the basis is basically on another game, well, make it more like the other game if there's an issue of the game being too short.
Yeah. Ari,
Wow.
The other thing, probably the biggest change between TF2 and Overwatch, is that in TF2, there were, I think, 12 classes, but the flexibility came in what weapons you had equipped. So each character had multiple weapons, and that was what determined their function.
And the only melee that I ever used was a frying pan.
Yes, and for Overwatch, it's a character, and everything on the character is the same every time you play the character.
Yeah.
So, on one hand, it let them develop IP and, you know...
Which is good for a game to do.
But on the other hand, it's significantly less flexibility.
It's still pretty
popular, unless you add so many characters that it doesn't matter. It's okay, each character has their own stuff. Okay, but if you have 50 characters, and yeah.
They've had 9 characters since the dawn of time, and that's it.
Yeah. So
just like me, for real.
Yeah, the TF2, every character had 3 equipment slots, some 4, and there's always like at least 3 choices for each slot. And they added more, like instead of getting new characters, they did new equipment.
Yeah. And the unfortunate part with this whole thing is, as much as Overwatch may have copied TF2 and all that, TF2 is kind of a dead game. Like, more so than Overwatch became, which is saying something.
Yeah, I mean, TF2 is totally dead.
I wouldn't call it dead, but honestly, it certainly isn't the same level of popularity as Overwatch.
Which, honestly, is a shame.
It's still got a very active community. It's just not... It doesn't have, like, all that competitive stuff anymore.
Yeah.
It's all about hats. It's all about hats,
hats.
It's the hats.
I mean, it was always about the hats.
Give me fedora.
It's all about the hats and the Australian frying pans.